He had nothing, no family, no food, not even shoes. But when a homeless teenager in Lagos found a billionaire's wallet in a pile of garbage, what he did next changed his life forever. What the billionaire did in return stunned the entire country. The sun was merciless over the rusted rooftops of Ajigunle, a slum in Lagos where dreams went to die. Amid the narrow alleyways and overflowing gutters, a 17-year-old boy named Emeka scoured a mountain of trash with a long stick. His ribs jutted from his shirtless chest, his shorts torn, his bare feet blackened by years of dirt and pain. He wasn't looking for treasure. He was looking for leftovers. His stomach growled. It had been almost 2 days since he ate. Just one loaf, even bread crust, he whispered, digging deeper into a smelly bin behind a fast food shop. That's when his stick hit something hard. Not a bone, not a bottle, something, leather. Emeka reached into the trash and pulled it out, a black leather wallet, thick, smooth, and far too clean to belong in that dump. His heart skipped. He opened it with trembling hands. Inside were naira notes, thick bundles, thousands upon thousands, neatly arranged cards, a golden VIP club membership, and one thing that froze him, a driver's license with a name that echoed through Lagos. Mr. Tun Bello, CEO, Bello Tech Group. Emeka gasped. Everyone in Lagos knew the name. Tun Bello, the tech billionaire, the man who built half of Lekki, the man who once donated 50 million Nigerian nairas to a children's hospital. And now, Emeka held his wallet. He looked around. No one saw. He could disappear right now. 500,000 Nigerian nairas. In cash was enough to buy food, clothes, rent a room, start a life. But Emeka's mother once told him before she died, a good name is better than riches. Don't let hunger change your soul. Tears welled in his eyes. His hand trembled. He zipped the wallet in his nylon bag and started walking toward Victoria Island. It took Emeka 3 hours to walk barefoot from Ajigunle to Victoria Island. The contrast was painful. Here, clean streets, luxury cars, glass buildings. There, filth, rust, and rot. But he had come too far to turn back. He stopped outside Bellotech HQ, a glass tower shining under the sun like a monument to wealth. Security guards gave him a cold stare. "Who you dey find?" one barked. I found this wallet," Emeka said quietly, pulling out. The guard's face changed. He grabbed it and flipped through it. His eyes widened. "Omo, wait here." Moments later, 3 more guards came out, then a man in a navy suit. Mr. Ade, the CEO's personal assistant. He looked at Emeka with suspicion. "You're the one who brought this?" "Yes, sir. I found it behind Mr. Biggs in Ajigunle." Mr. Ade raised a brow. "You didn't take the money?" "No, sir." He made a call. Minutes later, a black Range Rover pulled up. Inside it was Mr. Tun Bello himself. The back door of the car opened. Out stepped a man in his 50s, tall, confident, in a white native attire. The man from the driver's license. The man from the billboards. Mr. Bello looked at Emeka in silence. He studied him, the torn shorts, the filthy feet, the hollow cheeks. Then he opened the wallet. It was untouched. "You found this and you returned it?" Emeka nodded. "Why?" "I'm hungry, sir, but I'm not a thief." There was silence. Then, without a word, Mr. Bello turned and said, "Get in the car." Emeka hesitated. The guards nodded. "Oya enter, you dey safe." He climbed into the Range Rover. It was like a spaceship, cold air, clean seats, screens, soft music. They drove through Lekki into a gated estate. They stopped at a massive mansion. marble walls, fountain in the yard, palm trees by the gate. Inside, Mr. Bello took him to a large room with food already on the table. Eat! Emeka cried as he ate. Jollof rice, meat plantain, tears mixing with rice as he thanked God between every bite. When he finished, Mr. Bello said, "You have something money can't buy. Integrity." He pulled out his phone and made a call. "Get me the director of Oceanic School. We have a new scholarship student." Emeka was bathed, clothed, and driven to Oceanic School, one of Lagos's elite boarding schools. By the next day, he was wearing uniform, carrying books, and sitting in a classroom beside children of governors and oil tycoons. He didn't understand all the English. He didn't know how to type, but he listened harder than anyone. He never slept in class, never missed a day, and every night, as he lay in a soft bed in the school dormitory, he whispered, "Thank you, Mama. I returned it just like you would have wanted." But as he settled into his new life, Emeka didn't know that someone from his past was watching and wanted to destroy everything. Emeka had spent 3 months at Oceanic School, and while he struggled to catch up academically, he was determined to succeed. Some students mocked his accent. Others whispered behind his back, "That's the homeless boy Mr. Bello picked up like a stray dog." But Emeka didn't care. He had a bed, food, a future, until one day, a girl named Ifeoluwa, the daughter of a senator, sat beside him during lunch. "You know why he really took you in, right?" she whispered, biting into a fruit. Emeka frowned. "Because I returned his wallet?" She scoffed. "Think again. Tun Bello doesn't do charity without cameras. If there's no PR in it, it's fake." Her words haunted him. That night, Emeka lay awake, staring at the dormitory ceiling. He kept replaying that day, finding the wallet, meeting Mr. Bello, being taken in. It had all happened so fast. He decided to Google his benefactor. He snuck into computer room, typed Tun Bello into the search bar, and froze. Headline: Tech billionaire's son went missing 12 years ago. The article explained. In 2013, Tun Bello's only son, David, disappeared during a kidnapping gone wrong. The child was never found. The family offered a 100 million Nigerian nairas reward, but eventually the search was called off. Rumors suggest Bello still funds private investigations to this day. Emeka's hands trembled. He scrolled further. David Bello would be 17 today. That was his age. His birthday. He ran to the mirror. Same dimples. Same eye shape as the photo of the boy in the article. Could it be? The next weekend, Emeka was invited back to Mr. Bello's mansion. But this time, the billionaire was distant. He didn't ask how school was going. He didn't smile. Instead, he said, "Emeka, I need you to take a DNA test." Emeka froze. "Why, sir?" Mr. Bello sighed. "Just something I should have done earlier." The test was done at a private lab that same evening. Emeka returned to school confused, disturbed. 2 days later, Emeka was pulled out of morning assembly by the school principal. Mr. Bello was waiting in a private office. He didn't speak, just handed over an envelope. Inside were lab results. DNA test results matched 99.998%. Subject, David Tun Bello. Emeka's mind went blank. "I'm your son?" Mr. Bello's eyes were watery. "Yes, the wallet wasn't mine. I planted it." "What?" "I've been searching for you for 12 years. You were taken from our home during a robbery. We assumed you were lost, dead, but my gut said you were alive. I hired private agents. One told me a teenage boy in Ajigunle matched your baby photos." Mr. Bello sat. "So I planted that wallet near where you lived. I needed to see if you still had the heart of the boy I raised. You passed the test." Tears streamed down Emeka's face. He wasn't just a rescued, homeless boy. He was a lost son of one of the richest men in Africa. Emeka moved back into the mansion. A press release was made. Tech mogul reunites with long-lost son after 12 years. TV interviews, newspapers, invitations to elite parties. But the truth was, Emeka didn't feel at home. He couldn't relate to the spoiled rich kids. He didn't enjoy the spotlight. And worst of all, some people weren't happy he was back. Especially Jide, Mr. Bello's cousin, who had been managing the business and was next in line to inherit everything until now. One night, as Emeka returned from an evening lesson with a tutor, a black car pulled up near the mansion gates. Suddenly, gunfire erupted. Bullets shattered the air. Emeka dropped behind a tree. Security returned fire, chasing the attackers away. Mr. Bello rushed to the scene. "You okay?" he cried, embracing Emeka tightly. Emeka whispered, "Someone wants me dead." And he was right. Mr. Bello hired extra security. But Emeka started noticing things. His room was being entered when he was away. One of his guards received secret calls at night. A former maid was fired for eavesdropping. Then he heard a conversation in the hallway. "We were better off when the boy was gone. He's going to inherit everything." Jide's furious. That night, Emeka went into his father's office and said, "I don't want the inheritance. I want to earn my name." Mr. Bello was stunned. "I want to start from scratch," Emeka said. "Help people like the ones I left behind, not sit in golden chairs while they starve." His father said nothing, but a tear fell from his cheek. He handed Emeka a sealed envelope. Inside the envelope were documents, land, a small fund, a business registration. "You start small," Mr. Bello said, "but it's yours. Build something that changes the world, like you changed mine." A month later, the black SUV drove quietly through the narrow, potholed streets of Adjagunle, the place where Emeka once ate from trash, slept under broken zinc sheets, and dreamed of bread. But this time, he wasn't barefoot. He wasn't begging. He stepped out in a white kaftan, clean and sharp, holding a folder full of dreams. Around him, curious children stopped playing football on the sand. Women cooking by smoky stoves paused, eyes wide. "Is that? Naam, oh, that boy from TV. Bello's lost son." Emeka didn't smile. He looked around at the houses falling apart, kids with runny noses and a school with no roof. He turned to his assistant and said, "We're building a tech center here, right here, free for all." Within 2 months, construction had begun. Emeka called it the Bridge Hub, symbolizing the bridge between poverty and opportunity. It wasn't just a school. It had free Wi-Fi, skill training for coding, carpentry, fashion, a soup kitchen for street children, evening literacy classes for adults. The grand opening was aired on Channels TV, but Emeka refused to give speeches. He simply said, "I'm not here to talk. I'm here to serve." And the people loved him, but not everyone. In the shadows of Bello Teka's empire, Jide, the bitter cousin, watched in growing anger. He was just a homeless boy, a stray, and now he's a crown prince. Jide bribed a lawyer. He forged documents. He claimed the DNA was a scam. That Emeka was an imposter planted by Mr. Bello to fake a reunion and boost the company's stock. He filed a court case. The media turned ugly. Was it all a lie? Homeless boy or billionaire scam? The return of David Bello, fairy tale or fraud? Emeka stood in the courtroom. Journalists swarmed. Cameras clicked. Jide's lawyer produced documents and witnesses. It was intense. But Mr. Bello came prepared. He brought the original hospital birth records, DNA retested by an international lab, a childhood nanny, now aged, who tearfully identified Emika's birthmark. Then Mr. Bello dropped the bomb. The day Emika was kidnapped, Jide was in charge of security. He dismissed the guards early, and he bought a new car 2 days after the ransom demand failed. Gasps. Jide was arrested in court, handcuffed before the cameras. After the trial, Emika returned to Ajigunle. He refused to move into Banana Island. Instead, he built a modest home beside the bridge hub. He used the inheritance to fund tech scholarships for 200 street children, create a mentorship program for former prisoners, build boreholes in communities without clean water. People started calling him the son of Lagos. On his 18th birthday, Emika visited his mother's grave in the slum cemetery. He knelt with flowers and read a letter aloud. "Dear Mama, you told me never to steal, even when I was starving. I returned the wallet, and it returned my name. I'm your son, Mama, and now I belong to Lagos too. Thank you for giving me something money can't buy. A conscience." He wept. The wind was soft. It was a bright Saturday morning. A line of children queued at the bridge hub. A little girl tapped Emika's arm. "Uncle, were you really homeless?" He smiled gently. "Yes." "Why didn't you just take the money?" He looked her in the eyes and said, "Because the money would have fed my stomach, but the truth fed my destiny." She nodded like she understood, and he watched her walk into the coding class, her feet bare, her heart full of hope. A homeless boy found a billionaire's wallet and chose integrity over desperation. In return, he found a father, a family, and a purpose. Now, the same streets that once rejected him sing his name, the son of Lagos.